At least 40 people were killed during Orange Fascist Gangster Trumps' despicable, unlawful terror attack on the southern nation of Venezuela. That was not a covert operation. It was a public, violent declaration. In that moment, a line was crossed. And not just a border, but a foundational principle of the modern world. But this is more than a single strike. It is a statement, a signal of a new dangerous doctrine that redefines what our neighbor to the south believes it can do and to whom. Tonight we will examine Trump's statement in 3 critical sections. First, the pattern, from the lies to land grab. We will break down the strikes itself, the loss of life, the explicit neglect of both US and international law, and the administration's own admitting knowledge that it was crossing a legal red line. Second, the North American calculus. A message to Ottawa and Mexico City. Venezuela is not an isolated event. It is part of a conscious pattern, abandonment of allies, the open grab of resources and territories from Greenland to our own. This is a deliberate dismantling of rule-based worlds. The third, the imperative, sovereignty through solidarity. We will confront what it means for Canada and Mexico. The template of threats creation and resource seizure has now been demonstrated. We will analyze why this calls for a fundamental reassessment of continental security and sovereignty. This is a story about Venezuela, but it is a warning to every nation that still believes in the rule of law. To understand this, we must listen to the echoes of history. Trump's justification, a war on drugs, on terror, rings hollow. We heard similar pretenses before. The brutal reality of the Maduro regime does not change a more dangerous legal reality. This is elective regime change. A Democratic congressman, Seth Moulton, stated, "It is reckless risking lives for political goals." The true motive whispers beneath the surface. It is about resources. It is about control. It is the statement of the Orange Fascist Gangster, a shakedown. The pattern of violence expands beyond land. For months, US forces have conducted strikes on ships in international waters, killing over 110 people. A campaign of what legal scholars call high sea murder. This is the new doctrine, the time of the shakedown. The international rule-based order painstakingly built over the catastrophes of the 20th century is being politically dismantled. As Charlie Angus framed it, we have entered the age of the gangster state. In my opinion, the Orange Fascist Gangster sees the world like this. The strong do what he can. The not so strong suffers what he must. This is not a remote event. The message is deliberate, and it is broadcast far beyond South America. Look at the signal. A key White House advisor posts an image of Greenland under a US flag overlay, a brazen fantasy of annexation. The president has openly threatened military actions against Cuba, Mexico, and Colombia. He has threatened NATO allies. He abandoned Ukraine to Putin, rewarded the very act of imperial conquest he now mimics. The message to Canada and Mexico is not subtle. You are not allies. You are either an asset or an obstacle. His playbook is now visible. First, the fabrication of the threat. For Venezuela, it was drugs and terrorism. For Canada, the same machinery is already spinning, with baseless claims about the border being a source of fentanyl and terrorism entering the US. Narratives already pushed by high-profile US officials. then the assertion of a right to intervene, to run things. Venezuela's oil is now state target. The template is set. What is next? Canada's vast resources. So, what does this mean for countries like Canada and Mexico? Well, it means the ground has fundamentally shifted. The greatest threat to North American stability may no longer come from across the ocean, but from across the border, a border that was once a symbol of friendship. The response cannot be hope that we are not next. It must be strategic, urgent construction of resilience. This means first, seeing the situation with clear eyes, recognizing the nature of the threat. It's not alarmism, it is basic duty of national security. Second, it means forging a deepening independent alliance with a speed and purpose we needed never before. With democratic partners in Europe, in Asia, and crucially across Latin America. Our solidarity must be with those who still believe in the rule of law. Third, NATO must come to a resolution about this threat from within. NATO must be prepared to not be surprised. Fourth, it means international fortitude, protecting our institutions, our social fabric, and our economic sovereignty becomes a matter of urgent national defense. The attack on Venezuela is a stark, unmistakable lesson for all of us. The old assumptions of continental partnership are crushed. What has been demonstrated is the key recklessness of US power that views sovereignty as an inconvenience and resources as a rightful price. For Canada and Mexico, the path forward is no longer about maintaining a comfortable status quo. It's about choosing a strategic future. Will it be one of vulnerable dependency, hoping the template of the US slash and grab is not applied closer to home? Or will it be one of active, determined sovereignty, forged through deeper alliances with democratic partners worldwide and an unshakable commitment to defending the rule that protects all nations from the law of the jungle? We all know while the world is in this disaster, and our response will define our future. Now I turn the final question to you. Faced with this new reality, should Canada's immediate priority be the creation of a volunteer guerrilla-style force and economic defense, or to double down on diplomatic efforts to build a unified collective front with other democracies against the new era of aggression? The strategy we choose matters. Please share your opinion below. If you want to keep track of this new global threat, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to Europe Curious for more deep dives just like this one. Thanks for watching. I'm Wilfried Lemkuler from Europe Curious.